Hey guys, welcome back. This is Snazzy Yawa all-time favorite. Today we are gonna see what if Goku adopted by Potters. So let's move on to the video. Privet Drive was like every other street in the small town of Surrey, with white picket fences, freshly mowed lawns and a car in the garage. Everyone was living the American dream, except for the part where they're British. But that night while everyone was asleep a man appeared in the middle of the street. This man was Albus Dumbledore. Now if anyone was outside at 3 in the morning and saw this man they would have thought he was very strange. He wore silver robes with moon and stars on them, he had a long silver beard and a broken nose. From his pocket he pulled out his deluminator. With a flick of his switch, balls of light flew from the street lights and into the deluminator. Once the street became dark, Dumbledore noticed a tabby cat staring at him from atop a mailbox. "Good evening, Professor McGonagall," said Dumbledore to the cat. The cat leaped from the mailbox, transforming into a tall, severe-looking woman with her black hair in a tight bun. "Good evening, Professor Dumbledore," replied Professor McGonagall. "Are the rumors true?" "They are true, Dumbledore." "And Lily and James?" Professor McGonagall asked. "If they are alive they should apparate here in 3, 2, 1. As if on cue, a woman with long red hair and green eyes apparated with a man with glasses and messy black hair. In the woman's arms is a 1-year-old baby with a lightning bolt-shaped scar on his forehead. The three walked over to Professor Dumbledore and McGonagall. "Thank goodness you three are all right, but where's Goku?" asked McGonagall. "We barely got away, he nearly squished us," James said. "And what of Voldemort?" Dumbledore asked. "Don't say the name," Albus McGonagall said. "Now come now, Minerva, fear of a name only increases fear of the object itself." "I don't care what you call him, I just want both of my sons," Albus said Lily as she collapsed onto the pavement, never letting go of Harry. "Can't you fix that scar on his forehead, Albus?" Professor McGonagall asked. "I'm afraid I can't. Scars can be very useful, though I have one on my left thigh that I use as a map of the London Underground." James walked away from his wife and over to his former professors. "I assume you have a plan for getting Goku out of Godric's Hollow?" James asked, "because if we lived and he died, she will slaughter you where you stand. Tell your wife there's no for violence. Hagrid will be here anytime now." "Are you sure, Albus, that Hagrid can handle this kind of job?" Professor McGonagall. "I would trust Hagrid with my life." "Ah, here he is now." As Dumbledore finished his sentence, a flying motorcycle landed on Privet Drive. Driving the bike was a bearded giant carrying a crying baby with messy black hair and a monkey tail. He was completely naked with odd black marks on his stomach. "Evening, Professor Dumbledore. Did what you asked, got him to this exact spot, just like you asked." Dumbledore looked at the crying baby. "Hagrid, do you know what those marks are on Goku's stomach?" he asked the giant man. "Not at all, Professor," said Hagrid as he gave the child to the old wizard. Looking closer, the marks looked like a black spiral, surrounded by a circle. "Hagrid, how did Goku acquire this mark?" "It happened while he was a giant monkey. You know who blasted him with a hex, as Goku blasted him with a giant Kai blast from his mouth. I never saw anything with such power." "I'm sorry to interrupt, but where are we supposed to live now?" James asked after receiving a dirty look from his wife. "Not to worry, that's been taken care of. Here are the keys to your house, number 5 Privet Drive," Dumbledore answered, giving him a key. "Great," Lily Potter thought to herself. "My sister, her fat husband, and that spoiled little brat are our neighbors. Well, it could be worse, so I should at least try to be nice." "Well everyone, I think that's enough excitement for one night. Good night," Dumbledore said before handing the crying baby to James and returning the lights in the deluminator to their proper place before apparating away. 10 years later. Lily was in the kitchen staring at the cake baking in the oven. Her husband was at the table drinking a cup of coffee, enjoying the silence of his kids asleep. "James, how many times should I duplicate the you-know-what?" his wife asked from the kitchen. "What's the you-know-what?" James replied. "Keep this up, James Potter, and you won't get a slice of Goku's birthday cake." She heard a loud bang as she realized her mistake. "Darn it, James, you woke him up." The 11-year-old Saiyan sped into the kitchen. Once Goku got downstairs he could smell the chocolate cake in the oven. He was wearing a black t-shirt and gray shorts, his hair always looking like he'd just got out of bed, and his tail wrapped around his waist like a belt. "Cake," Goku said, his mouth salivating. Even though no one actually knew when his birthday was, they had let him pick the day, but Mom wasn't all that happy when he picked the same day as his cousin Dudley. "Hang on, mister, did you brush your teeth?" asked Lily. "Yes, Mom." "Wash your face?" "Yes, Mom." "Wake up your brother and sister?" "No, Mom." "Well, go wake them up or no cake," his mother told him. With the threat of no cake on his shoulders, he ran upstairs to wake up his siblings. He went into the first room near the stairs to find his 10-year-old sister Ruby, fast asleep in her bed, her black hair hanging in her face. This was going to be fun. Ruby, wake up, he screamed in his sister's ear, making her jump out of bed. He knew she hated being woken up, but it was either let her sleep or no cake. I hate it when you do that, Ruby mumbled, wanting to go back to sleep, but she knew that he would let hell freeze over before he went without cake on his birthday, so that meant she had to be awake. Come on, Ruby, it's a beautiful day, you shouldn't be asleep. You're just waking me up because you want cake, said Ruby, irritated at her adopted brother's monstrous appetite. Goku waited until his sister was out of bed and walking to the bathroom before going to the large room he shared with his brother Harry. Without warning, he leaped onto his brother's bed, bouncing up and down, making him the world's most annoying alarm clock. Harry had been dreaming about his first year at Hogwarts when his monkey-tailed brother woke him up. There was only one reason Goku woke up, either him or Ruby. Harry woke up and reached for his glasses. Do you have to do that every year? Yeah, pretty much. Come on, I want cake, and then we have to give our present to Dudley. Why does Mom make us do it every year? He probably throws it away after we leave. Harry and Goku got out of bed and walked downstairs just as Ruby got out of the bathroom wearing her usual outfit of jeans and a leather jacket over Beatles t-shirt. Ruby Potter was by all definition a tomboy. She refused to wear any form of feminine clothing and despised the color pink. They three Potter siblings walked into the kitchen and saw at Goku's seat 5 chocolate cakes in front of his spot and a gallon of milk. The rest of the family was sharing one cake. Food faster than anyone could blink, Goku left his sibling's side and went to consuming his inhumanly large portion of food. After 5 minutes the cakes were gone and he was chugging down the entire gallon of milk. How long did it take him this year? Ruby asked. 6 minutes 12 seconds, said James, answering his daughter. I feel sorry for whoever marries him, Harry mumbled. Once everyone was done, the 3 Potter kids had to go to Dudley's to give him his present, which according to Ruby was just a €1 bill with a couple of zeros after the one drawn in permanent marker. Dudley was so dumb he wouldn't notice until he tried to buy something. With the present in Ruby's pocket, they walked across the street to number 4 Privet Drive. The 3 Potters walked across the street to number 4 Privet Drive and were about to knock on the door when Harry turned to his brother. Goku, promise you won't attack Dudley again. Flashback. Goku, Ruby and Harry were sitting in the back of Uncle Vernon's car with Dudley and one of the kids in his gang. For whatever reason, Dudley had demanded that they come along with him on his birthday trip to the zoo. So that meant listening to Uncle Vernon go on and on about whatever he felt like complaining about today, while Aunt Petunia sat and shotgun and agreed with every word her husband said, as if it were coming from the Pope himself. His usual complaints included taxes, politics, and anything that wasn't his definition of normal, which included 3 of the children in the back of his car. Today he was complaining about motorcycles. Crazy hooligans thinking they owned the road, Uncle Vernon grumbled as a motorcycle zoomed past him. Harry knew better than to say anything to his uncle, so he kept his mouth shut. 20 long minutes later they arrived at the zoo. Dudley demanded to see all of the dangerous animals, so they were dragged from the lion to the tiger and everything with fangs and claws until it was lunchtime. Usually this meant Dudley would get a mountain of food, but surprisingly Uncle Vernon actually bought Goku a hot dog. This didn't go unnoticed by Harry and Ruby. Pinch me, I must be dreaming. They spent money on one of us. Do you want it? Ruby, Goku asked, offering his sister the hot dog. Are you sure I'm not dreaming? Goku isn't stuffing food in his face, said Harry. No, you're not dreaming. Every year these guys treat you like something that came out of the toilet. You're my brother and sister, and they can't buy me with a hot dog, even though I'm really hungry. Goku, eat the hot dog, we have our own money. Ruby didn't even finish her sentence before the hot dog was gone. After lunch they went to the reptile house. Harry was looking at a python. Must be lonely in there, isn't it? To Harry's surprise, the python nodded his head. Can you understand me? Once again the large snake nodded his head. Harry looked to see what kind of snake it was. Brazilian tree boa. Is it nice in Brazil? The snake pointed at the sign. Born in captivity. That's too bad. Do you want to go to Brazil? The snake nodded his head and for the second time today surprised Harry. Move out of the way. Harry then noticed the screaming as Dudley and his friend flew through the air into the boa's enclosure. Somehow the glass had vanished. The snake slithered out, causing most people to run away in fear. Tell the Saiyan I owe him 1 Brazil. Here I come. The snake slithered out and through the panicking zoo. Saiyan, what in bloody hell is a Saiyan? Ruby and Goku came over along with a panicking Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia. As if by magic the glass had reappeared. The 2 boys panicked while the zookeeper on duty tried to calm down Aunt Petunia. Ha, serves them right for doing that with my sister. Harry suddenly felt very sorry for any girl who tried to flirt with Ruby. End of flashback. He started it by trying to touch Ruby under her skirt, but I promise. The door opened and Uncle Vernon opened the door when he saw Goku, his face contorted into a mask of angry fury. You have a lot of nerve coming to this house after what you did, you monkey-tailed freak. Goku wasn't saying anything, so Harry and Ruby stood in front of him. Don't call my brother a freak, he was only defending me after what your spoiled brat and his gross friend did to me. Don't you dare insult my son, you two are the spawn of an unnatural freak and a good-for-nothing magician, and him. Even they aren't unnatural as him, he should be locked up somewhere and dissected. It would do the world a service if that scrawny messy-haired piece of filth was buried in a ditch somewhere and his miserable carcass was left to rot because even the buzzards wouldn't touch it. Now get off of my property before I call animal control on that freak. Ruby and Harry were about to leave when Goku stepped forward and with all of his power kicked the man's crotch, watching him kneel over in pain before joining his siblings. That was bloody brilliant, Goku, Ruby told her big brother cheerfully. The next day, while everyone was at breakfast, an owl flew in through the window and landed on Goku's head. Hi birdie, please get off my head, Goku asked the owl. The owl then flew off of Goku's head and onto Harry's head before dropping an envelope into his oatmeal. Dear Mr. Potter, you have been accepted to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Listed below are the supplies you will need for your first year. 1 Hogwarts uniform. A pewter cauldron and potion-making kit. Dragon skin gloves. 1 telescope. Hogwarts book set year 1. Hogwarts martial arts GI. Students are also allowed to bring a cat, rat, toad or owl along with them. And as a reminder to your father, first years are not allowed to bring brooms, and Mr. Filch will search through your luggage during the welcome feast. Sincerely yours, Minerva McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Harry had read the letter out loud, and everyone was laughing at how Professor McGonagall had included a warning to James. Have fun at Hogwarts, Harry. Goku said he was happy for his brother that he got to go to Hogwarts. It would get really lonely even more when Ruby went next year, but he was going to be happy for his brother. Just then the front door burst open, and a very large bearded man walked through. Morning, Potter, said Hagrid as he walked through the door carrying an object wrapped in a bundle and a flowery pink umbrella. Sorry about the door. All right, Hagrid, not that it isn't great to see you, but why are you here, asked James. Well, to bring Goku his school supplies, of course. Professor Dumbledore, no, he can't do magic, but he wants Professor Sun to train him. Yahoo, I get to go to Hogwarts, Goku cheered happily. Goku went straight for the package in Hagrid's hand, opening it up to reveal an orange GI with a kanji for turtle in a circle on the back, and over the heart it came with a blue belt, and a tail hole in the package was also a book. Oh, why is there a book in here? Well, for the governors to agree you have to take Defense Against the Dark Arts class. Well, if you don't got any more questions, let's go to Diagon Alley. Yes, both Harry and Goku said, since they have never been to Diagon Alley before. Hold on a second, said Lily, interrupting their good mood. Hagrid, promise nothing bad will happen. Yeah, have my word, Lily, come on boys, let's go. The two new first years left the house and a feeling of dread descended on their mother as she knew something was going to happen. Harry and Goku were riding in the subway with Hagrid. All the muggles were staring because they never saw anyone so enormous. They got off of the train and walked up some stairs to the leaky cauldron. Inside, well, let's just say it looked and smelled a lot better outside. The bartender, a bald toothless man, saw Hagrid and gave him a toothless grin. Hagrid, good to see you. Do you want the usual? Not today, Tom. I'm on Hogwarts business and have to help Harry get his supplies for school. Look, it's Harry Potter. Everyone swarmed around Harry like moths to a flame. They all wanted to shake his hand, ask for his autograph. All right, back off, ya bunch of harpies. The crowd of witches and wizards dispersed and Hagrid, Goku and Harry walked through the bar and out to a brick wall. Hagrid uses his umbrella to tap a few of the bricks. A panel in the wall opens up. Welcome to Diagon Alley. They walk into a shopping center for everything a wizard would need, but Goku wasn't paying attention to the stores, but a building with delicious smells. Oh no, thought Harry as he saw the sign outside the door. Barty's American Wizard BBQ. All-you-can-eat buffet. Hagrid saw Goku drooling and handed him some money. Go ahead, Goku, eat till your little belly is full. Goku was gone before Hagrid could finish his sentence. While Goku was gone, Hagrid and Harry went to a bookstore to buy Harry's books, then they went to get his potion-making kit, cauldron and telescope. Harry, can ye handle getting the rest of the things on your list? I need to pick something up for Professor Dumbledore. Harry nodded his head as Hagrid walked over to a large marble building. Harry walked to a clothing store where an old woman was making measurements around a pale-skinned boy with blonde hair and an arrogant look on his face. "So the great Harry Potter has come to Hogwarts. I'm Draco Malfoy. I know who you are, and being the son of blood purists doesn't impress me. You know I could help you once we get to Hogwarts. How? By getting everyone to hate me? No, by showing you who to avoid, like all of the mudbloods in this charity case my father told me about can't even use magic, but he gets private lessons from Professor Sun because he's an half-breed." "What do you mean half-breed?" Malfoy stepped off the platform he was standing on as he was handed his school robes and an emerald green GI and a silver belt. "My father told me that he landed in a round ship on the Quidditch pitch during a match. As a baby, Professor Dumbledore gave him to some mudblood to raise. He's supposed to have spiky black hair and a monkey tail." A monkey tail? Harry could only think of one person with a monkey tail, and that was Goku. So who that snake was talking about? Could it have been Goku? And why did he call him a Saiyan? What was that anyway? Malfoy walked out. "Wizards like us should let a freak like him into our school, am I right?" Harry, acting on an impulse of anger, punched Malfoy through the wall next to the door. If Goku had done it, the little git would have gone through the wall, but Harry knew enough about Kai to knock him out. Harry walked out with his robes and GI. 20 minutes later, the woman had even let him have it for free because she wasn't a fan of the Malfoys. Harry was about to go to Ollivander's wand shop when he heard screaming coming from the BBQ place Goku was at. He ran over to find Goku being chased out by a large man with a wand in one hand and a meat cleaver in another. "Come back here again and you'll be on the menu. Goku, do you have to get yourself kicked out of every restaurant you go to? I don't get why he got mad at me. It's all you can eat in there. They mean by normal people's standards, not yours. Come on, how about we go get my wand?" "Okay." Goku and Harry walked to Ollivander's wand shop, which was filled with high shelves and an old man sitting behind a counter. "Ah, hello Mr. Potter, let's get you measured for a wand." The man began measuring Harry's hand with a magic tape measure that wrapped around his wrist and took various measurements. He then got down several boxes. "Here, let's try this 12 inches elm dragon heartstring." Harry was given a wand. When he waved it, the wand made a fart noise. "No, that's not the right fit. How about this 10 inches oaken unicorn hair?" The old man took the first wand and gave him a second wand. Instead of a fart noise, it made a few exploding sparks. "No, that's not right either. This may seem like an odd combination, but 11 inches holly and phoenix feather." When the wand was placed in Harry's hand, it began glowing in a golden light. "Interesting, very interesting. I didn't see anything. The wand works for Harry. What's the big deal?" "You see, every unicorn hair, phoenix feather and dragon heartstring I use comes from a different creature, except for the wand in your hand. I was able to get 2 feathers from the same phoenix. The other wand I sold to was to a dark wizard, one who even today is feared and hated. A wand chooses the wizard, Mr. Potter, and it seems you are chosen for great things." The Potter family was walking through King's Cross Station, Harry pushing a trolley with his trunk and new owl Hedwig, while Goku simply wore his turtle school GI. "Don't you think it's a little disgusting to wear the same thing for a year?" asked Ruby. "You wear the same jacket every day." "That's different. I wear different clothes under it," Ruby said. "I swear, Goku, most of the time you're a pain." Harry was getting really irritated with the argument and was thankful to see the entrance to platform 9 3/4, where a group of red-haired people were standing. Judging from the owl cage and the trunks with the Hogwarts crest on the side, they definitely weren't muggles. "Why is there a wall blocking the entrance? Do I need to smash it?" asked the Saiyan. "No, Goku sweetie, no need to smash the barrier, you just walk through it," said Lily, answering her son before he destroyed the barrier. The Weasley family was about to walk through the barrier to the Hogwarts Express when Molly Weasley noticed her old classmates from Hogwarts and their family. "Nice to see again, Molly," said Lily. "It's been too long, old friend. So this is the family?" "Yes, my son Harry, my daughter Ruby and my adopted son Goku." "A pleasure to meet you all. Let's finish this conversation on the platform." When no one was looking, the two families passed through the barrier and onto a platform where a crimson-red steam engine was waiting. "Now I want no trouble from you two," said Mrs. Weasley, looking at 2 15-year-old boys who had red hair like all of the Weasley kids. "Trouble us? We won't get into any trouble, right, Red?" said the twin on the left. "Honestly, Mum, do you really have so little faith in us?" said the twin on the right. "I've gotten more letters from Hogwarts from you two than all of my children put together. Why can't you be more like Percy?" The tallest of the Weasley kids had a look on his face similar to Malfoy's, but less arrogant. He was already wearing his Hogwarts uniform minus the robes and had a badge with a lion pinned to his chest. "Because he's a git," answered Fred. No, he's not a git, he's more of a snobby know-it-all, said George. Better a snobby know-it-all than a delinquent who would blow up a toilet, said Percy. Blow up a toilet, great idea, Percy, said George. Percy was angry at himself for giving the idea, but then noticed a boy. He was about the size of a house elf with spiky black hair, eyes the color of ebony, and white skin. He was wearing an orange martial arts gi, with the kanji for turtle in a circle over his heart, and a brown furry belt. Why don't you have any of your school supplies? Aren't you going to Hogwarts? Yeah, I'm going, but I'm not a wizard. Professor Dumbledore made some kind of deal that I could get fighting lessons from someone named Professor Sun in exchange. I have to take Defense of the Dark Arts class, Goku said with a big smile on his face. Just then the train blew its whistle. No time for goodbyes, everyone on the train, and Goku, Harry, don't do anything your father would do, said Lily. Goku and Harry nodded their heads as they ran with the other Weasleys to get on the train. They made it just in time. Goku lifted Harry's trunk with his tail and placed it on the train just as it began moving. On board the Hogwarts Express, Goku was running through the train in mad pursuit of a chocolate frog. His new friend Ron had told him not to even bother with trying to catch it, but it looked good so he wanted it. He was so occupied with chasing the milk chocolate amphibian he didn't notice when he bumped into a girl. Hermione Granger was helping a boy named Neville find his lost toad when she bumped into a boy with black spiky hair, wearing an orange martial arts uniform. From her reading, she recognized it as a turtle school uniform. He also had a brown furry belt and looked to be about as tall as her stomach. "I'm sorry, are you alright?" asked Goku. Goku looked at the girl he had accidentally knocked over. She looked his age with brown hair. In her hand were a bunch of books and the delicious chocolate frog taunting him on top of her hair. "You have a chocolate frog on your head," said Goku, laughing. "What, get it off!" Hermione shrieked. Goku grabbed the chocolate frog off her head before it could hop off before placing it in his mouth. "Did you really just eat that?" asked Hermione. I've been chasing it all over the train. I think I made a bunch of 7th years really pissed at me when I charged into their compartment." "I'm Hermione." "Nice to meet you, my name's Goku." "You're Goku, I was just reading about you being the first alien trained by Professor Sun." "That's me, but what's an alien?" Hermione showed a copy of the Daily Prophet. The front page was dominated by a picture of a baby Goku in a Saiyan space pod crying. "You're an alien, Goku. You were born on another planet and came here as a baby. Does that answer your question?" "Yes, so are you Muggle-born? You smell like the dentist." "Yes, I'm Muggle-born. Is that a bad thing?" "No, I'm afraid of shots." Hermione was laughing with Goku all the way to the compartment where Harry and Ron were sitting. They had finished off the rest of the candy. "Sorry, mate, but you took too long," Ron said before burping. His breath smelled like licorice and chocolate. Hermione sat in compartment with them for the rest of the ride, talking to Goku about famous martial artists, the strongest under the heavens tournament in Japan, and she showed Goku a picture of an old man doing the Kamehameha. "So this is Hogwarts," said Goku as he got off the train and onto the station. All of the first years were walking over to Hagrid. Goku was about to when an old man in a martial arts guy and a hat on his head walked over to him. "Hello, I am Professor Sun, and you must be Goku. You're shorter than I thought you'd be." "You're older than I thought you'd be." "Oh, so the little monkey has his father's mouth, does he? Well, here is your first exercise. Follow the upperclassmen to the path. They will be getting into carriages that'll take them to the school. You run as fast as you can to the castle and make it before the sorting is done. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir," said Goku. Goku followed the upperclassmen to a line of carriages pulled by black skeletal horses, began running as fast as he could up the path. After a few minutes he could see the large castle and smell the food. "Food!" Goku screamed as he began running faster, bursting through the door, literally sending wood splinters in every direction before running into Professor McGonagall. "Based on the uniform, I will assume you are Gohan student. Please enter the Great Hall and sit anywhere you wish," said Professor McGonagall, "and please don't break another door." Goku apologized and walked into the Great Hall filled with students. He went over and sat at the Gryffindor table next to the Weasley twins and a girl with blue hair. "Look, Fred, it's the monkey who made Percy tick," said George. "Why, yes, Fred, I do believe it is," said Fred. "You know my name's Goku, right?" "We know," said Fred. "We mess with everyone," said George. "You get used to them after a while," said the blue-haired girl. "My name's Bulma. Are you joining Gryffindor?" "I'm not a wizard, so I don't think I can," said Goku. Just then the other first years walked in, and the sorting happened. Everyone at the Gryffindor table cheered when Harry was sorted into Gryffindor. We got Potter, the Weasley twins shouted. After the cheering had died down, Professor Dumbledore stood up. Welcome to another year at Hogwarts. Now there are a few things that need to be discussed. First off, the corridor on the third floor is forbidden to all who do not wish to die a painful death. Also, Professor Sun later in the year will be taking 2 students to the Tenkaichi Budokai tournament later this year, so try your best in his class. Now on with the feast. At every table every kind of food appeared. Food. Goku dived into the buffet eating everything he could get his fingers on and stuffing it into his mouth. Bloody hell, said Ron as he looked at Goku eat 10 times his weight in food. You get used to it after a while, said Harry. Just pray he doesn't sit here every day. Professor Quirrell was an average wizard before being asked to teach at Hogwarts. He had thought it to be a good idea to take a research trip to Albania until he met a certain wizard. Activate the seal, said a hissing voice in his mind. As you wish, Master Acheron. Goku was about to grab a turkey leg when he felt a burning pain coming from his gut. He fell back holding on to his stomach as the seal on his stomach glowed bright red as a voice screamed in his head over and over. Damn you, Frieza, was the last thing Goku heard before passing out. Harry rushed over to his adopted brother. The seal on his stomach was glowing and his face contorted in pain. Perfect, the Potter brat is in range of the seal. Activated for him as well, the hissing voice commanded in Professor Quirrell's mind. As you wish, Master Acheron. As suddenly as it had attacked Goku, Harry felt a burning pain in the scar on his forehead, and he collapsed. By now a crowd had gathered around them. The teachers came over and dispersed the crowd. All students to their common rooms now, said Professor Dumbledore, as he levitated the 2 boys out of the Great Hall and to the hospital wing. In the hospital wing, both Goku and Harry were laying in hospital beds. Goku's shirt was off, while Professor Sun and Professor Snape examined the seal. Well, Gohan Severus, what do you make of it? Well, Albus, this is a highly complicated restriction seal. It is designed to restrict physical and magical capabilities. I would have to say, based on the time it would have taken to create a seal this complex, I would say it was made beforehand, and for another target, most likely you, Albus. Also, due to the restrictive magic in the seal, his body will cease growing. Thank you, Gohan Severus. Do you know what is going on in his mind? Unfortunately, I do. He is reliving his last moments. He saw his father alive in those last moments. The Saiyan known as Bardock attacked a tyrant called Frieza, who with a Kai blast created with a finger, destroyed him and his home planet. Saiyan Severus. I can explain, Dumbledore said, a voice that everyone in the room heard. Ah, Kami, a pleasure to hear from you again. From the lookout, the wrinkled green Namekian speaks to Dumbledore. I have spoken with King Kai. Dumbledore, the Saiyans were a warrior race who lived for battle and combat. They can be identified by their human-like appearance and monkey tail. A few other characteristics you should know: their power increases from surviving near-death experiences, and when a Saiyan is put into a moment of extreme anger, a transformation can be released. A transformation? What does this transformation look like? The Saiyan will gain an increase in muscle size, his hair will lengthen and stand up, going from black to gold, but the most startling transformation is in the personality. In a transformed state, a Saiyan will not show mercy to an enemy, going from kind to heartless in a second. Thank you for the information, Kami, said Professor Dumbledore. Not a problem, old friend, but I should warn you, Gohan is correct about the seal, but according to King Kai, the seal will only affect his growth, his Kai abilities will not go undamaged. Professor Dumbledore looked at the young Saiyan. It seemed that the pain from Goku's seal and Harry's scar had ceased. Severus, Gohan, keep an eye on Quirrell. Goku woke up in what smelled like a hospital, which was Goku's signal to make a break for the door and run before they brought out the needles. Good morning. Goku looked to see Professor Dumbledore standing by his bed. Professor, get me out of here before they bring out the needles. Albus Dumbledore had seen many things in his life, but the young Saiyan in front of him, possibly the last member of a race who lived for the thrill of battle, afraid of a Muggle medical practice, made him chuckle. No need to be afraid, there are no needles within miles of the place. Hearing this, Goku visibly relaxed. Well, that's a relief. Needles would have been worse than that nightmare I had. Would this nightmare involve a man known as Bardock dying at the hands of a being called Frieza? How did you know that? Goku asked as he remembered the nightmare. Flashback. Deep in the outer reaches of space above a purple planet, a battle was occurring. A multitude of beings wearing the same armor were being slaughtered by a single man. He was a tall man with well-defined muscles and had a healthy tan, wearing green armor and a blood-stained bandana under his spiky black hair, a scar on his left cheek, a souvenir from his first mission, his fist soaked in a rainbow of blood from the enemies he had slaughtered. Frieza, show yourself. From a large spaceship a little alien man flew out. He was relatively small, wearing a purple chest plate. His face had an expression of arrogance that far exceeded the Malfoy. Standing to his left was a fat-looking pink man who looked like a sea urchin, and to his right was a handsome blue man with long green hair in a braid. "So you survived Planet Meat Bardock," Frieza said in a surprisingly feminine voice. "Why, Frieza, we've worked together for 15 years. Why did you betray us? Show some respect, you filthy Saiyan," the pink man yelled. Now Dodoria, the stupid monkey, asked an honest question. 300 years ago, my grandfather was a powerful space pirate who laid the foundations of my empire. He was going to conquer this god-forsaken planet for the medicine its people had, but a Saiyan for whatever reason was on the planet and killed the men he sent, so he came to conquer the planet personally and faced this Saiyan in combat. At first, it seemed he would have won, but somehow attacking a native child angered the Saiyan. He kept shouting, if only then, and a transformation occurred. His hair went from black to blonde, and he blasted my grandfather off of the planet before he died. He warned his men of the Super Saiyan, and to prevent another Super Saiyan, and to avenge my grandfather. Chill, you and your people will die. It ends here, Frieza. My fate's planet Vegeta, my new son Kakarot's, and yes, even your fate will be decided with this. Bardock formed an energy blast in his hand and fired, which Frieza easily deflected. That was pathetic, Bardock. I expected more from the warrior who conquered planet Kanasa so easily. With his finger, Frieza created an energy blast that expanded to the size of the sun as it hit Bardock. "Damn you, Frieza," he shouted as the supernova blasted him before continuing its path through the men Bardock had not slaughtered and into the planet, watching it explode. Just then the blue alien noticed a Saiyan space pod outside of the blast zone. "Sir, a Saiyan is trying to escape. Shall I destroy him?" Dodoria activated his scouter, seeing the Saiyan was an infant with a power level of 1. "Don't bother Zarbin, it's just a low-class infant. He'll be dead the minute he's outside the pod." End of flashback. "I am sorry, Goku, but what you saw was a memory, not a dream. So you are a Saiyan and possibly the last member of your race." For a minute, Goku looked depressed at seeing the death of his biological father, but then his stomach rumbled. "Goku, if you wish to have breakfast before training, may I recommend sitting at a table besides Gryffindor, as you devoured most of the food." Goku gave a big smile before running as fast as he could into the Great Hall, finding an open place across from Draco Malfoy. "Get off our table, you filthy monkey." Goku felt anger at those words, close to the same ones used against his father before he died. "What did you call me?" "You heard me, you filthy monkey. Go sit with your worthless friend and his weasel." Malfoy would have said more if Goku's hands weren't on his neck. "Insult anyone I care about again and it'll be the last mistake you will ever make." Goku left the table and marched out of the Great Hall to meet Professor Sun. Professor Sun was waiting for Goku on a marble arena with a box. "Ah, Goku, ready to begin your training?" "Yes, sir." "Excellent, first put this on." Professor Sun then pulled out a Goku-sized turtle shell and handed it to Goku. Goku, confused by the strange request, put the turtle shell on his back. "Now for your first exercise, you will deliver milk to every house in Hogsmeade." "Milk?" Goku asked. "Yes, milk. The little Saiyan will put milk bottles on the door of every house in Hogsmeade, and just so you don't walk, I borrowed a surprise from Hagrid." The surprise Gohan had borrowed from Hagrid were hunter wasps, which look like normal wasps but have a terrible temper and will follow you everywhere. And that's what they did for 20 whole minutes after Goku had finished delivering milk. Harry and Ron were late as the two friends ran into Professor McGonagall's class. They were relieved that Professor McGonagall wasn't in the room, just the rest of the class and a cat on the desk. "We got lucky. Could you imagine what McGonagall would do to us if we were late?" said Harry. The cat glared at Harry before leaping off the desk, turning into Professor McGonagall. "That was bloody wicked," said Ron. "Thank you, Mr. Weasley. Perhaps I should transfigure one of you into a pocket watch so that you'll be on time." "We got lost, Professor," said Harry, leaving out the part where they tried to get into the Forbidden Corridor before Filch chased them with a broom. "Then a map, perhaps." Suddenly Professor McGonagall heard a buzzing noise coming from outside her classroom. "Do you hear a buzzing noise?" The two boys nodded their heads. Just then Goku burst into the classroom running at full speed, the hunter wasp still chasing him. Goku blasted a few of them with a Kai blast, but the swarm still hounded him. "Hunter wasps, I swear Gohan is almost as bad as Hagrid." As she raised her left hand, Roar of the Lion, a beam of red Kai blasted from her hand and incinerated the swarm of annoying bugs. "Goku, please tell Gohan that if his training sessions disrupt my class again, I will kick his rear back to Japan." Yes ma'am, Goku said quickly before running out. The next morning Goku was eating breakfast with the Gryffindors again, talking to Hermione, who was telling him about all the classes she was taking, when the owls that delivered the mail flew in through the window. The owls then flew to who they had mail for. A tawny owl dropped a copy of the Daily Prophet. Goku picked it up. Hermione, what does this say? Goku, you don't know how to read? Hermione asked. Goku gave her his trademark smile. Nope, mom tried to teach me, but I was always more interested in fighting. Well, here's what it says. Extraterrestrial Assaults Pure Blood. By Rita Skeeter. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry for nearly 2 decades has been under the thumb of Albus Dumbledore, the supposed wizard who discovered the 12 uses for dragon's blood, and who hasn't heard of the legendary duel between Dumbledore and Gilbert Grindelwald in 1945, but in this reporter's opinion, has become a senile old fool who was a force to be reckoned with during the 1900s. In the year of 1990, during a Quidditch match, an alien infant had landed. Obviously there were many suggestions on what to do with it. One was for it to be experimented on, others said to simply exterminate it. But did the minister listen to Lucius Malfoy? Of course not. Instead he had listened to Dumbledore's advice. He then gave the baby to be raised by James Potter and his muggle-born bride Lily Potter. It seems that the notorious prankster that had terrorized Hogwarts during his time there has trained a simple-minded creature to assault the progeny of our pure-blood community. Shortly after the school year began, the alien named Goku by Dumbledore sat at the Slytherin table uninvited. When Draco Malfoy asked him to leave, Goku grabbed him by the neck, threatened to kill him, and stormed out of the Great Hall. I knew that thing should have been killed, but did anyone listen to me? Lucius Malfoy tells me if that thing isn't removed by the time this interview is published, I will go to Hogwarts myself and drag it out. Goku, this is bad. It's no big deal, I mean what can he do, said Goku, giving her his trademark smile. While in the headmaster's office, he could sense a lot of angry energy. In Dumbledore's office, the teachers were arguing with a tall man with long blonde hair and an angry expression. I've told you, Lucius, leave the castle now. You don't tell me what to do, Dumbledore. Now give me the freak this instant, Lucius said to Dumbledore. I have a way to settle this, said Goku. Everyone turned around to see Goku walk into the office. And what could such a primitive creature propose? Lucius asks, and insults at the same time. Goku smiled. Simple, Malfoy, a fight, you and me, no magic. If I win, I stay at Hogwarts. If you win, you can kill me in any way you want, even Avada Kedavra. Dumbledore looked at the Saiyan and questioned the sanity of the race. Goku, do you realize what you are saying? Asked Dumbledore. I'll be fine, I'll be waiting on the training field, Malfoy. Goku walks out of the office. Well, Dumbledore, it seems I get my way after all, said Lucius as he walked out of the office. Word of the fight spread like wildfire. The Weasley brothers had started collecting bets, and Draco was bragging how his father would finish the match in seconds. Classes were cancelled so that everyone could watch the fight. Goku was standing facing Lucius. Well, monkey, shall we get this over with? Lucius asks Goku as he drops into a fighting stance. Goku said nothing and made no move towards Malfoy. What is he doing? He's not even taking up a battle stance, Lucius thought before he charged. Goku smirked before he vanished. Only. Dumbledore chuckled, quite impressive. I can only name 5 people I've ever met who know to suppress their energy. Now Goku is among those 5. Gohan nodded in agreement. Very true, headmaster. If he already can perform such a high technique, then there is nothing I can truly teach him. Lucius was looking through the arena in a mad fury. Coward, show yourself. Up here, Malfoy, Goku said as he was flying in mid-air. He smirked before descending in front of Malfoy. You've lost this battle, Goku said. Has your tiny brain stopped working? You haven't even thrown a single blow. Goku said nothing. He simply vanished, appearing behind Malfoy in mid-air, kicking him across the arena. I could tell from your last attack you make too many movements, Goku said before landing onto the training field again. Surrender now, it will be less humiliating. This can't be happening. I can't lose, and I won't, Crucio. Goku's body felt like 1,000 burning needles were being put into his body over and over again. He could barely stand up. We had a deal, you coward. No magic, said Goku. The pain was increasing as he was brought down to one knee. Why should I keep an agreement with such a filthy creature? You are nothing, just a piece of filth lower than any mudblood. Now it is time to end this. Lucius' wand appeared in his hand. Legitimens. Goku's felt him probe his mind, making him relive the encounter with Frieza over and over again. Time to die, stupid monkey. Lucius said that just as Frieza said, the words blended together until all he heard was stupid monkey over and over. Hey, Goku broke through the curses holding him down, his body surrounded in a golden aura, his hair spiked up going from ebony to gold, his eyes going from black to teal, and full of hatred, Goku had become a Super Saiyan. Lucius Malfoy, you are a coward who breaks an agreement with a child just to win, and since you are trying to kill me, how about I repay the favor? Goku crouched down, his hands going to his sides. Kame, said Goku. Everyone who knew anything about martial arts widened at the attack he was about to perform. Hame blue energy formed in his hand, everyone braced themselves for the power about to be unleashed. Goku fired the Kamehameha enveloping Lucius. When the blast cleared, a huge chunk of the arena was gone, and Lucius Malfoy was barely alive, the left side of his body covered in serious burns, his wand a pile of ash next to the stump that was formerly his left hand. Goku stared at the damage he had caused before falling to the ground unconscious, his hair returning to its normal color. Draco Malfoy was shocked. There was no way he was going to let that monkey get away with this. He ran onto the arena with his fists raised above his head, ready to crush his neck when Harry, Ron and Hermione ran in front of him, shielding Goku's collapsed form. Get out of my way, the freak needs to die for what he did to my father. The Golden Trio made no attempt to move. Draco simply charged at them. I said to get out of the way, you freak huggers. He threw a punch which was caught by Goku, who had transformed back to Super Saiyan. Goku said nothing as he threw Malfoy over to Professor Snape. He better be punished, Zevers, Goku warned. Goku walked off the arena to Professor Dumbledore and Professor Sun, his hair turned back to normal, and he looked like he was going to puke. Later in Dumbledore's office, Goku had just heard Professor Dumbledore's new offer. Well, Goku, do you accept the offer? Goku thought about it. Yep. For the next 2 days everyone was talking about the fight, and Harry was asked hundreds of questions about Goku, everything from asking if he was looking for students to if he was single. What was worse were the rumors that were spreading like wildfire in every class. Some thought he was a prince sent from his planet to find an exotic bride, others were his planet was destroyed by a meteor, and he was the last of his race. On Friday, Harry and Ron were sick of all the rumors. This is getting ridiculous, Ron, it's worse than the stuff about me and Voldemort. Ron involuntarily flinched at hearing the name of Britain's most evil wizard. Sorry, Harry weakly apologized. Even though he didn't live with the Dursleys, Harry could only imagine what kind of hell that would be. His parents had never mentioned his encounter with Voldemort as a baby. It's alright, what classes do we have today, asked Ron. As the Hogwarts is a magical building, so the stairs were constantly moving, which made getting to classes difficult, especially if you ran into Peeves, the little immortal floating man who would send you on wild goose chase. The classes themselves proved there was more to magic than holding a wand and saying some funny words 3 times a week. The Gryffindors worked in a greenhouse behind the school, with the Hufflepuffs learning about all kinds of magical plants from a plump old woman named Professor Sprout, and Wednesdays were Transfiguration and Astronomy. On Thursdays, they had Charms class and Defense Against the Dark Arts, which were a joke. The classroom smelled like garlic, which everyone said was to ward off a vampire he met in Romania and was afraid it would come attack him one of these days. His turban he had told them he got from an African prince as a thank you for getting rid of a zombie, but no one believed this story. When Seamus Finnegan had asked how he got rid of the zombie, he fainted. But anyway, on with what they have on Friday. Double potions with the Slytherins, Harry answered. We're doomed. Fred and George told me he always favors the Slytherins, Ron groaned. Goku is sitting on the floor in the room of requirement, concentrating on the power that flowed within him. With every breath his hair changed from black to gold. Goku was so focused on his meditation that he didn't notice the 2 energy signatures that came in. Percy Weasley was impressed during the fight with Malfoy. He seemed to have no control over his actions, but now he was repeatedly transforming at will. Not bad, kid, said Bulma. Goku opened his eyes to see Bulma and Percy standing next to him. Hi Bulma, hi boring guy, what are you doing here, asks Goku. Hey Goku, Professor Dumbledore said you were here. He wanted us to see if you were in control of your transformation. Wait a minute, why did he send 2 prefects? The 2 older students looked at each other before pulling out their wands. Sorry about this, Goku said Bulma. I'm not, he called me boring guy, said Percy. Harry was completely creeped out by the dungeon he was sitting in, and even more so by the greasy-haired, long-nosed, black cloak-wearing man that was Severus Snape. Sit down, wands away, no talking, Snape said as he glared at the Gryffindors like they were evil incarnate. Everyone followed his instructions. I don't expect that most of you will really understand the beauty of this softly simmering cauldron, with its shimmering fumes, the delicate power of liquids that creep through human veins, bewitching the mind, ensnaring the senses. I can teach you how to bottle fame, brew glory, and even put a stopper in death, Snape said, glaring at Harry, who was writing down what he said. It seems famous Harry Potter is beyond my teachings. The Slytherin started to laugh. Tell me, Mr. Potter, where could I find a bezer? Hermione raised her hand high in the air, trying to get Snape's attention. I don't know, sir, but Hermione knows, said Harry. 20 points from Gryffindor. What for? Harry asked. Failing to prepare for class, Snape hissed before walking back to the board, writing instructions for a potion. Well, don't just stand there like a bunch of dunderheads. Get started. Goku was flying through the halls with Bulma and Percy running behind him, casting stunners and full body binds trying to hit him. Gotta hide, where can I hide? Goku is somewhere in the basement of the castle where there were stacks of barrels large enough for Hagrid to stand in comfortably. He broke through a barrel and into a round room made of compacted earth with yellow furniture. Wow, there's a lot of yellow in here. Gotta hide. He then noticed the empty fireplace. An idea came to Goku as he flew into the fireplace just as Bulma and Percy ran into the Hufflepuff common room. So this is the Badger's den, said Bulma. I can't sense him. The two prefects might have given up if they hadn't heard a loud bang. Ow, why is there a ceiling in a fireplace? Goku screamed. A grate fell down through the chimney and made a clang in the Hufflepuff common room. We have to get up there, said Percy. Right now we're below Ravenclaw Tower. By the time we get up there he'll be long gone. Good thing I had a backup plan if he ditched us. Goku is flying against the ceiling now, being blasted at by the Ravenclaw prefects. Why are there so many people trying to make me learn how to read, said Goku. The two prefects, seeing they can't hit the Saiyan with their spells, put their hands together, sticking up their middle and index finger. Wyvern Cyclone, said the two prefects as a large blue cyclone surged through the hands. Goku barely dodges the attack and flies outside. The two prefects would have followed with the soaring eagle technique when a ripped pair of orange pants came flying through the window. Come on, Penelope, we have to go after him. No way, Oliver, I'm not chasing a half-naked kid through the air, said Penelope. Meanwhile, at the same time on the Quidditch pitch, it was the first year's flying lesson. Neville Longbottom had broken his wrist, and the hawk-like flying instructor Madam Hooch was examining it after he had fallen off his broom. I don't want to see anyone in the air or you'll be out of Hogwarts faster than you can say Quidditch. Madam Hooch then left with the boy, taking him to the infirmary. Longbottom is pathetic, can't even stay on his broom, said a gloating Malfoy. Shut up, Malfoy, said Pravati Paddle. Malfoy was about to say a comment about Pravati when he noticed Neville's Remamball that he had gotten this morning. He went over and picked it up. Look, Longbottom dropped his stupid toy. Give it here, Malfoy, said Harry. Or what, Potter, your pet freak isn't around, and I'm not afraid of you, Weasley, or the monkey's mudblood girlfriend. Hermione looked like she was going to explode at the girlfriend comment. I am not Goku's girlfriend, you slimy arrogant brat. How dare you even talk to me, you filthy little mudblood. Purebloods are the only thing that should walk in this school. Well, Longbottom's so pathetic it's hard to believe he's a pureblood, so I'm going to leave this in a tree somewhere. Malfoy got onto his broom and flew into the air. Harry got onto his broom and flew after him. Give it back, Malfoy, Harry demanded. Or what, Potter? Harry noticed who was behind the arrogant pureblood and smiled. What's so funny? I'll just curse you off your broom, less filth for the school to clean up. What was that you were saying, Malfoy, said Goku. Malfoy slowly turned around to see an angry Goku floating in mid-air without pants on. It would have been funny if he didn't look like he would kill you without a second thought. I can't stand people like you, Malfoy, arrogant trash who think the ground they walk on should be worshipped like they were a god on earth. Makes me sick. Now get on the ground now, before I decide to beat you up, along with expelling you. The look on Malloy's face was made Goku wish he had a camera. You filthy monkey, you can't expel me. Do you know who I am? Sure I do. You're the son of the wizard I beat up who was too much of a coward to keep his word to an 11-year-old, and whatever pure-blood witch who married him that you came out of. And for the record, as the newly appointed head of security, I can expel anyone who is racially intolerant or a threat to the student body in general. Now get on the ground now. Goku transformed into a Super Saiyan when he said now. Goku could smell something foul coming from Malloy's pants, so he pissed himself. He was scared at first, then angry. Go fetch the stupid ball, monkey. He then threw the Remamball. Harry, acting on an instinct, zoomed after the ball, diving through the air, catching it just as it reaches the ground. Harry landed right in front of Professor McGonagall. Professor, I can explain, Harry said. No need, Mr. Potter, you are not in the same boat as Mr. Malfoy. She then looked up to see in Goku without pants. Good Lord, Goku, are you aware you have no pants on? Goku looked down as if he just realized he was half naked. At least he was wearing underwear. Professor McGonagall sighed in annoyance. Gohan, and his ideas will be the death of me, I just know it. Professor McGonagall raised her wand at Goku. Stamp Egnero, the air changed form becoming orange pants around Goku. Professor, you can't expel me and keep the monkey when my father hears of this. Your father is in enough trouble for using an unforgivable on school grounds, Mr. Malfoy. Goku landed grabbing Malfoy. Professor McGonagall, I'm going to take Malfoy to Professor Dumbledore. Oh, and congratulations, Harry, said Goku before dragging away Malfoy, who was cursing Goku with words so foul they made Goku wonder what kind of parents speak that way around an 11-year-old. In Professor Dumbledore's office, Goku is standing with an arm on Malfoy's shoulder in case he tried running. Draco Malfoy, it gives me no pleasure to say this, but you are expelled from Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. You have 24 hours to pack your things before the train will come to take you home. Do you have any last words before your wand is snapped? Malfoy looked at Goku with pure hatred. You'll pay for this, monkey. Professor Dumbledore sighed. He had hoped that Draco would be different than his parents, but it apparently wasn't meant to be. Goku proceeded with snapping the wand. Goku nodded and snapped the wand in two, and then burning the pieces with his Kai. Malfoy left before he could be embarrassed anymore when the door shut behind him. Goku smiled at the elderly headmaster. You were testing me, weren't you, old man? Goku asked with a smile. Indeed, I wanted to see your level of control in a chaotic situation. I was worried you might transform when panicked. You didn't, and may continue your post as head of security, although I have one condition. With his wand he conjured a sleeveless blue GI yellow pants, a white belt, white shin guards and pink wristbands. Please wear these if something happens to the outfit you are currently wearing. No one needs to see you naked. At the same time, in Professor McGonagall's office, Harry was being complimented by Professor McGonagall to Oliver Wood, captain of the Gryffindor Quidditch team. The boy dove 50 feet and pulled up at the last second, catching a Remon ball. I haven't seen someone with such talent since his father Potter. Was that your first time on a broomstick? Harry nodded. Even more amazing, Potter. Welcome to the Gryffindor Quidditch team. Goku is sitting in his office, a small round room with a view of the Quidditch pitch. Goku had discovered the hard way what a howler was. He had received 100 of them, all from purebloods yelling at him about expelling Malfoy, 50 of them from some old bat named Dolores Umbridge. I swear if I get another howler I'm going to explode, said Goku as he rubbed his temples. The young Saiyan thought of taking a nap until the Halloween feast when Hermione came in. Hey Hermione, what's up? Goku, do you know why there's a giant dog in the Forbidden Corridor? Flashback. Goku had come with Professor Dumbledore to his office after he defeated Lucius Malfoy. Goku was curious of all the magical instruments and a fiery red bird, but his body was still in pain from the Cruciatus curse, and whatever energy left in his body had abandoned him as he sat down across from the old wizard. Thank you, says Goku. For what, my young friend? For keeping the Malfoys away from me as a baby. You do not have to thank me, but now Goku, on to the current state of things. It seems James taught you highly advanced techniques, combined with your Super Saiyan transformation, you have surpassed Son Gohan. The meaning behind Dumbledore's words sank in, so I have to leave. Not exactly. You are probably aware of the seal on your stomach and the intense pain it caused you earlier in the year. Goku nodded. You see, the wizard who put that mark on you is after an object that I placed in the school, called the Sorcerer's Stone. I would like you to help in guarding it. Do you accept my offer? I accept. End of flashback. Hermione, can I borrow your wand? Hermione, confused by the statement, gave him her wand. Thank you. Could you stick out your hand? Hermione obliged Goku, then cut his palm and with her wand, and then did the same to Hermione's. Then he put his still bleeding hand on top of Hermione's. He then gave Hermione back her wand. Thank you for doing what I asked as a friend. I beg you don't go through that door again. All right, if you say so. Hermione then left Goku's office. I should probably add Harry and Ron to the blood seal too. Goku yawned. Oh well, I'll do it later. He then pulled out the pillow he got from the Hufflepuff common room and fell asleep. The Great Hall was decorated for the Halloween feast with hundreds of floating jack-o'-lanterns, singing "This is Halloween," the opening song from The Nightmare Before Christmas, with a swarm of live bats flying around. The tables were covered to the brim in sweets, with everyone either eating or watching in awe. Goku filling his mouth with food. Good lord, Goku, must you really eat like that, said McGonagall. I'm a Saiyan, we need to eat to keep up our strength, said Goku before eating his 12th plate of food. Anyone see Quirrell? As if on cue, Professor Quirrell came running and screaming, "TR TR troll in the dungeon." The man then fainted like a little girl. Prefects escort the students to the dormitories. Teachers follow me. The teachers with their wands out followed Professor Dumbledore to the dungeon. Goku was about to follow when he felt a dark energy heading towards the third floor. Goku then flew to find out what it was. At the same time, Harry and Ron had sneaked off to find Hermione to warn her about the troll. "Holy cow, what's that smell?" said Ron. "It smells like a hobo with rotten teeth driving a garbage truck in Atlantic City," said Harry. He then covered his nose in a failing effort to block the terrible odor. They then saw the troll walking down the hallway, its massive gray body, its unusually tiny head, and the intimidating club it was dragging behind it. It walked into a door with the key in the lock. Harry then slammed the door shut, and Ron locked the door. The two then high-fived, their feeling of victory destroyed when they heard a girl screaming. "Hermione," they both said as they unlocked the door and rushed in. The troll had Hermione cornered and was going to use its club to squish her like a bug. When Harry somehow managed to collect Red Kai in his hand. Roar of the lion. He then fired the blast at the troll. Against a human and average martial artist, that would have caused a lot of pain, but the troll barely felt it. Still on an adrenaline high, Harry leaped onto the troll's back and stuck his wand up its fat ugly nose, which made the troll drop his club. Ron then came up with an idea. Wingardium Leviosa the troll's club, then flew high into the air and started pounding the troll on the head until it fell to the ground. Harry then pulled his wand out of the troll's nose. "Yuck, troll boogers." He then tried to clean up the wand with the troll's pants. "Nice attack, Harry, you've been practicing." The three first years turned to see a bloody Goku smiling at his adopted brother. "You better get out of here before the other teachers show up." "Goku, it was my fault. I tried to fight the troll, and I lost. If it wasn't for Harry and Ron, I'd be dead." The three boys were in shock. Hermione was lying to a member of the Hogwarts staff. 5 points from Gryffindor. You can subtract it from the 50 I'm giving Harry and Ron for bravery and dumb luck. Goku smiled. Even beaten and bloody, his smile still brought confidence to people. "Get out of here before the other teachers show up." The three kids nodded. When they were gone, Goku began limping to the infirmary. Hermione Granger was in the library, as usual, looking through books to explain why Goku had mixed their blood. Hermione was about it. She didn't find anything on the next page when the young witch hit the jackpot. The use of blood seals. A blood seal is the ultimate defense for a valuable item and requires advanced skill in magic to create the seal. The maker will mix the ink with the blood of someone who will protect the seal. This person can pass freely through. This person, if he or she chooses, can add others to the seal by mixing their blood with their own. This can be done up to 4 times after the creation of the seal. "So that's why Goku is head of security," Hermione said as she went to the Great Hall, where obviously she found Goku stuffing his face at the staff table. She walked over to him just as he stuffed an entire ham into his mouth. Goku, can we talk?" "Sure, Hermione, I was just having a small breakfast before the Quidditch match." "If that's what he considers small, then I'm next in line for the throne," Hermione thought to herself as she walked out of the Great Hall with Goku. "Why did you add me to the blood seal?" Goku, instead of denying it like she thought he would, he laughed. "Damn it, I warned Dumbledore you would figure it out. You are probably the smartest girl in the whole castle." "Yes, McGonagall and Flitwick owe me 100 galleons each." "Thank you, Hermione." "Wait a minute, if there's a blood seal protecting who knows what, why is there a giant dog in the 3rd floor corridor?" "You're a smart girl, you'll probably figure it out in no time," said Goku as he smiled like an idiot. "Well, don't wanna miss the match later, Hermione." Goku then ran off towards the Quidditch pitch. Every seat in the Quidditch pitch was filled with the news of a new Gryffindor seeker. Gryffindor, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw were hoping to see Slytherin finally lose a match, which hasn't happened since Charlie Weasley graduated. Hogwarts alumni were also in the stadium like their student counterparts, hoping to see Slytherin get its rear kicked. "Go Gryffindor," yelled James from his seat. "James, the match hasn't started yet," said Lily. "I know, Lily, but I haven't seen those green-wearing spoiled brats lose in years." Ruby was sitting between her parents, rolling her eyes, not really paying to their argument, when suddenly she heard the laughing of her older brother behind her. Her parents also stopped their argument when they heard the laughing, saying, "The pre-game entertainment is interesting." "Goku, shouldn't you be guarding the stone?" asked Ruby. Goku was not surprised his younger sister knew about the stone. "You know you shouldn't be looking through other people's mail," Ruby said. "Goku, but since you know about the stone, you know what I'm going to ask." "Yeah, I know after the match," said Ruby nonchalantly. 10 minutes later the players marched onto the field, Gryffindor in bright red and Slytherin in green, followed by Madam Hooch carrying the box that contained the balls for the game. Captain Shake Hands Oliver Wood shook hands with Marcus Flint, who looked like he was part troll, before the players got onto their brooms and flew into their positions. Good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, I am Lee Jordan, and welcome to the first match Gryffindor vs Slytherin. I will be your mostly impartial commentator. Now let the match begin. Madam Hooch opened the box, and the bludgers and golden snitch flew onto the field. Madam Hooch then picked up the quaffle and threw it into the air. Harry flew high into the air watching the match below, listening to the commentary as he kept an eye out for the snitch. Harry noticed a flash of gold and dove after it. "And Potter has spotted the snitch," Lee Jordan shouted. "For a first year, the kid can really handle a broomstick," as Harry twisted and dived following the snitch, with the Slytherin seeker not far behind. When Harry thought of something he saw Goku do once. Goku could sense Harry's Kai spike. This is going to be good, and Goku's prediction was right as Harry flared his Kai, increasing the broom's speed from the stands. He looked like a red blur that caught a golden dot. Harry was now a few feet above the ground and looked like he was going to hurl. The snitch disappeared, and the Gryffindor seeker looks like he's going to hurl. Jordan comment on the match. Professor McGonagall lectured. Harry spit out the snitch in his hands. It was the second worst tasting thing he ever had in his mouth, only topped by Ruby's attempt at cooking. Potter caught the snitch. It was unorthodox, but he caught it. Gryffindor wins, said Lee Jordan, with everyone, minus Slytherin, cheering like banshees. Harry was about to get off his broom when it suddenly floated 100 feet in the air and started trying to throw him off, with Harry holding on for dear life. "What the heck, this isn't part of the match," said Goku as he flew into the air to save his adopted brother. When he got close to Harry, he was knocked by an invisible barrier. Ron and Hermione watched as the Saiyan pounded with all his might at the barrier, but it wouldn't break. That's when Hermione noticed Snape mumbling under his breath. "It's Snape, we have to stop him," said Hermione as fast as she could without drawing attention. She ran to the other side of the pitch to the teacher's section. Incendio from her wand, a jet of flame surged onto Snape's robes, setting them on fire and causing effective chaos through the teacher's section. Harry was about to fall off when he regained control of his broom. "Goku, the barrier wasn't under me, you could have went that way." "Excuse me for a minute." Goku flew over to a goalpost and repeatedly banged his head against, mumbling "stupid" over and over. Later in Goku's office, Goku was enjoying his midday nap. Besides the crazy barrier problem and the Quidditch pitch needs a goalpost repaired. One guess which one? What else could possibly go wrong? Then the golden trio showed up. "Goku, what is Nicholas Flamel hiding in the castle?" Hermione said. "How do you know about Nicholas Flamel?" "Hagrid, they said at once he's not very good with secrets," said Ron, adding in his 2 cents. "Okay, fine, it's the sorcerers." Goku was interrupted by 2 very angry-looking people storming into his office. One was a man in a suit wearing a lime green bowler hat, the other was a woman who can be described as a toad that was crammed into an old lady sweater. "Guys, you're going to have to leave." While Hermione was confused, Harry and Ron knew exactly who that was and dragged Hermione out of the line of fire between the minister and his evil-looking toad lady. "No offense to toads." "Minister, to what do I owe this unexpected pleasure?" said a sarcastic Goku, doing his best Snape impression. "You know very well why we're here, creature," said Umbridge. It's not that hard to figure out from the 50 howlers you sent." Draco Malfoy broke a requirement set upon him by a professor of Hogwarts, stole the property of another student, insulted other students based on their blood purity, and threatened to severely injure another student. Why the minister himself came along with you, I have no idea, so come on, Toad Woman, hit me with your best shot, because I can hit back 1,000 times harder." Umbridge twisted her wrist, and her wand appeared in her hand, while Goku aimed a Kai blast at her head. "Now surely we can come to some sort of agreement that would be beneficial to both sides," said Cornelius. While he wasn't the greatest politician in magical government, he wasn't the worst either. "I won't attack if the toad in the sweater lowers her wand," said Goku, his eyes never leaving Umbridge. "Very well, Minister, I will cooperate with the creature," said Umbridge as she lowered her wand. For now she thought as Goku lowered his hand as the Kai blast faded away. "Now Goku, is there any way that you would allow Mr. Malfoy back into school?" "I can think of one. I'd have to talk to Professor Dumbledore first, but I have no doubt he'll agree to what I have in mind." "Name it," said Cornelius. Goku smiled. "Simple, Minister, all you have to do is find someone related to the Git and get him or her to enroll in the school. Search everywhere. My only requirement is that this person is old enough to attend Hogwarts and not a pure blood." "That's impossible and you know it, you foul manipulative demon. No self-respecting member of the Malfoy family would ever be with someone who isn't of pure magical blood." Umbridge screamed so close to the young Saiyan's face he could feel her spit on his cheek. Now Dolores, it isn't as impossible as you make it sound. The Malfoys are one of the largest pure-blood families in the country. What he is asking isn't impossible. But Minister, why should we even listen to this thing? For all we know, it could have been created by the Dark Lord. Are you crazy, woman, said Ruby as she descended from her hiding place on the ceiling. Goku doesn't have an evil bone in his body. This just isn't my day, Goku thought to himself. Thanks for the words of confidence, little sister, but I've got my own proof. Goku went over to the wardrobe in his office, grabbing the object in it and putting it on the desk. Good lord, is that what I think it is? asked Umbridge. On top of the desk was a wooden head that looked like a demon with a mouth full of fangs. In between the eyes was the dark mark. Yes, it's the head of a death drone, a merciless killing machine that was in Hogwarts on Halloween. It nearly killed me. Listen well, Umbridge, insult me all you want, call me demon, creature, beast, but call me a Death Eater again, and there is nothing on earth that will stop me from ending your life. Now get out. Terrified for her life, Umbridge fled the office. Goku politely said goodbye to the minister, and he also left the office. Wow, Goku, I never seen you that mad before. I guess this job has done some good for you. You know you shouldn't be eavesdropping, Ruby. I would have left if you sensed my energy, but the big bad Saiyan isn't the only one who can disguise their Kai. Fair enough. The next day, Harry, Hermione and Ron tried to figure out who Nicholas Flamel was hiding in the castle. Okay, we know Goku knows whatever it is, so who's going to ask him, asked Hermione. I'm not going anywhere near an angry Super Saiyan, said Ron. We could sneak into Goku's office when he's not there. Goku looked up from his breakfast to see Harry, Hermione and Ron leave the Great Hall. They could have just asked. 20 minutes later in Goku's office, the Golden Trio were going through the drawers of Goku's desk. Why does he use this if he doesn't write, said Ron as he looked through an empty drawer. Hermione looked through the drawer that had a pillow and a blanket. He sleeps on his desk. Probably, said Harry as he found a piece of paper in a scroll. I found something. Harry unfolded the paper on the desk. It looked like some kind of map, but whoever drew it possibly had the worst handwriting in the entire universe. What is this? It looks like a 2-year-old could have done better, said Hermione as she tried to read the map. Only Goku could draw this thing. Harry, could you figure it out, asked Ron. Honestly, I just know Goku made it. Whatever it is, I have no idea, said Harry. The Golden Trio left, planning on trying to decipher the map later. At the same time, Goku was training in the Forbidden Forest. Professor Dumbledore had given him permission to compete, and he was going to give everything he had, as he knew there were plenty of powerful martial artists in the world. Later that night, Goku went back to his office exhausted after spending the day training in the forest. He had a month to prepare for the tournament, while still being on the lookout for Voldemort. Goku could sense his friend's energy around his desk, so he knew they had taken the map he left for them. They still could have just asked, said Goku, as grabbed the pillow and blanket from his drawer and got ready to sleep. 3 weeks later, Goku was at the airport with Professor Sun and the 2 students he had selected to go with him. One was a second-year Muggle born from Japan, with blonde hair and whisker marks on his face, wearing a sleeveless orange martial arts GI with a red spiral on the back. The other being a 4th-year Hufflepuff named Cedric Diggory, wearing a yellow GI with a black belt. They had just arrived in Japan a few hours before. It's been many years since I've come to the Tenkaichi Budokai. You've actually entered it, asked Goku. Of course I have. Before I came to work at Hogwarts, I was a world-renowned martial artist. And now you're a sadistic drill sergeant who had hunter wasps chase me wearing a turtle shell that literally weighed a ton. To be more accurate, little monkey, it was 10 tons. Frankly, I was surprised you could move with it on. After a few more minutes of playful banter between student and teacher, and a taxi ride to the tournament grounds where they were quickly registered with Goku, Naruto and Cedric heading to the area for the preliminaries. You may be wondering why Naruto is in a DBZ horsepower crossover. Well, it's very simple. You see, Masashi Kishimoto, creator of Naruto, was inspired by DBZ. If you look closely at Naruto and Goku, you can see the similarities between them. Now you have learned something new. Back to violent fiction. The preliminaries were easy as most of the martial artists had only Muggle-level power. The 8 people who made it to the final stood in front of the tournament MC and a bald monk. Congratulations to the 8 of you for making it through the preliminaries. Now when I call your name, please step forward so you can get your slot in the bracket. Jackie Chun, an old man wearing Chinese-style fighting clothes, walked up to the MC and grabbed a number from the box, number 4. Alright, so you're in match number 2. Namu Ram, an Indian man wearing a turban, walked forward and grabbed a number from the box. I am number 8. Alright, you're in match number 4. Krillin, a little bald boy a little smaller than Goku wearing the turtle uniform, walked up and pulled a card out. Number 1. Alright, you are in the first match. Yamcha. Yamcha dressed the same as in canon the first time he entered the tournament. Number 3. Excellent, you will be fighting Jackie Chun in the second match. Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto stepped forward and grabbed a card. Number 5. Alright, you are in the third match. Cedric Diggory. Cedric walked and picked number 7, putting him in the fourth match against Namu. Draco Malfoy. What Goku thought as he saw the smug bastard he got expelled, but there was something repulsive in his energy as he picked up number 2, putting him in the same bracket as that Krillin kid. Goku. Goku got number 6, which put him against Naruto. Alright, now that the bracket is filled, please wait here while I announce the first match, said the MC. As he walked onto the arena when he and the monk were gone, Goku walked over to Malfoy. Why are you here, Malfoy? The pureblood wizard smirked. Payback for everything you've done to my family, half-breed scum. Jackie Chun, who was really Master Roshi, knew about wizards and wasn't surprised by the pureblood's racism. He'd keep quiet as long as the boy didn't break the statute of secrecy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tenkaichi Budokai. Now let's get on to the action. Our first round is between Draco Malfoy of England and Krillin. The two competitors came out and stood facing each other. Give up now, you're in no way superior to me. Krillin immediately hated this guy. He had completely insulted him without ever even seeing him fight. He wasn't a master, but he was going to kick this guy's smug ass. Here are the rules: you may not strike below the belt to your opponent's eyes or in between their legs. The match ends when either fighter is pinned for 10 seconds, falls out of the ring, or forfeits. Weapons are not allowed, and you cannot kill your opponent. Is that clear? Yes sir, said Krillin. Like I would waste time killing this weakling, said an overconfident Malfoy. You may begin, said the MC as Krillin charged at his opponent, throwing a punch at his head. Malfoy ducked and sent a round kick at Krillin, hitting him square in the chest. Krillin got up and got into the stance that was famous to martial artists across the world. Came. Malfoy was angered. This was the technique that left his father in St. Mungo's for 2 months, as the healers were barely able to save his life. A blue ball of energy appeared in Krillin's hands. Malfoy was not about to let him finish. Green Kai surrounded the tips of his fingers as he charged, slamming his Kai-infused hands toward Krillin's stomach. Krillin leaped him out of the way. But Master Roshi. The Slytherin Fang wasn't a technique to be used in a tournament, as most of its victims died from the attack, targeting the internal organs. Roshi was furious. He had entered the tournament in secret, so he could make sure his student get arrogant if he won, not watch him die in the first round. Goku was also furious that anyone would teach him that technique. Hogwarts guidelines forbade learning of any of the 4 founders' styles of martial arts until 4th year, their ultimate techniques. 5th, he would probably have to beat Malfoy into a coma for using it. Krillin didn't know what that technique was, but he wasn't going to let it hit him either. Ha, said Krillin as they were both enveloped by blue energy. Malfoy was blown into the wall outside the arena. Incredible, Krillin has won his match. Krillin was somehow able to stand up and limp to the waiting area, but not before dropping out of the tournament due to his injuries in the fighting area. Krillin stumbled a bit, and Goku caught him before he could fall and hurt himself anymore. Thanks, I needed the help, said Krillin as Goku helped him onto his feet. No problem, thanks for taking out Malfoy for me. Yeah, well, the guy didn't think clearly, and now he has to live without arms. In Hagrid's hut watching the tournament was Hagrid and the Golden Trio around Hagrid's fireplace. Malfoy got his ass handed to him, said Ron, laughing. Serves that pure blood, get right, he didn't think straight, and now he has to suffer for it, said Hermione. Harry couldn't wait for the next match, as he ate some of the popcorn next to Hagrid, who had a baby dragon in his lap. Norbert likes the match too, don't you, Norbert? The baby dragon growled in the half-giant's lap. You remember the deal, you 3, I told you about the stone, and you 3 keep quiet about Norbert. The Golden Trio nodded and watched the fire, waiting for the second match. In Hagrid's hut, the Golden Trio was huddled around a fire watching the Tenkaichi Budokai. Ladies and gentlemen, are you excited for the next match? I know I am. So here they are, Yamcha and Jackie Chun. The two competitors walked into the arena as the crowd shouted their approval. Time to see if this old body still has it. You may begin the match, said the MC. Yamcha ran at Jackie, throwing a punch at him. The elder fighter ducked under the attack before leaping into the air and delivering a roundhouse kick to his side, sending him across the arena. Yamcha flipped in mid-air, standing where he was where the match started. I'm impressed. Few men have recovered so quickly after one of my attacks. I was going to save this for the finals, but you forced my hand. Wolfang fist. Yamcha charges at Jackie Chun, an illusion of a wolf running with him. Jackie simply smiles and punches the air, creating a shock wave that sends Yamcha into the wall. Ring out the winner as Jackie Chun. The crowd roars as Jackie helps Yamcha get up. You have great potential, train hard, it's the best advice I can give. Thanks, I'll take that advice, said Yamcha, as the two walked into the waiting area. Well, that was exciting, wasn't? Our next fight is between Goku and Naruto. Naruto walked out to the arena followed by Goku, who was thinking of the conversation he had with Professor Dumbledore about him. Flashback. Goku is in Professor Dumbledore's office. Goku, I believe you should know some things about one of the students Professor Sun is taking to the Tenkaichi Budokai. Okay. Professor Dumbledore pulled out a file with a picture of Naruto. His name is Naruto Uzumaki. His parents are martial artists who live in Tokyo. While he has no actual magical talent, besides being able to fake it enough to pass, his fighting style is unorthodox as it doesn't use Kai. If Goku had been drinking something at the moment, he would have spit it out on his employer. If he doesn't use Kai, then how does he fight so good to qualify for the tournament? That's what I want you to find out. If you face him, I would want you to test his abilities, even use Super Saiyan if you have to. Of course, sir. End flashback. Goku stared at Naruto. Let's give these people a fight to remember, okay Naruto? I was going to say the same thing to you, Goku. Let the match begin, shouted the MC at the top of his lungs. In the audience were a man with blonde hair and blue eyes, and a woman with long red hair and violet eyes. Fight Naruto, kick that kid's monkey-tailed butt, the woman yelled. Naruto and Goku heard this while Goku had no idea who it was. Naruto smiled. No way am I going to lose. Naruto then began doing movements with his hands that Goku didn't understand. Shadow clone jutsu. In an explosion of smoke, an army of Narutos were around Goku. This is awesome, Goku thought as the clones charged. Goku charged straight into the clones, punching and kicking left and right, making the clones disappear in a poof of smoke. When all the clones were gone, Goku was in the arena alone searching for Naruto. He heard a noise above him and quickly leaped back as Naruto with a ball of spinning energy fell from the air. The ball created multiple cracks in the arena around a crater the size of a man's head. Note to self, don't let that hit me, said Goku as he saw the damage it did. Aw, come on Goku, I know you're stronger than this. You'd have to beat Malfoy team. That depends, I'll go full power if you do. Naruto sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes. Way ahead of you. Goku felt a strange energy around Naruto. He needed to go Super Saiyan before he was finished. Hi, Goku shouted. His golden energy surrounded his body as he became a Super Saiyan. Just as Naruto gained orange rings around his eyes, when he opened them they looked more like a frog's. Goku and Naruto charged at each other as the two met in the center of the arena. The two threw blows at each other, trying to push the other back. After 5 minutes, Goku was able to punch Naruto in the stomach, only for it to be another clone. The real Naruto was in the corner of the arena with another of his spear attacks, but this one had a shuriken of wind surrounding it. It's over. Goku wins style Rasen Shuriken. Naruto threw the attack at the young Saiyan, who quickly fired a Kamehameha at the Rasen Shuriken. When the two powerful attacks collided, created a powerful shock wave as the two attacks imploded, sending the two out of the ring. Goku avoided touching the ground by flying, while Naruto just fell out of the ring. Ring out. I hope you had your DVRs at home on, folks, because that was one of the most amazing fights I've ever seen, said the MC. Naruto got up. If you had used my power we could have clobbered that Saiyan, said a voice in his head. We could have, but it may not have been as fun, Kurama. Naruto replied to the voice in his head. Hey Goku, here's a reward for kicking my butt. Naruto was then surrounded by a poof of smoke. When it cleared, in his place was an older-looking Hermione without any clothes on, and smoke covering the private areas. Goku covered his eyes. Don't look. If Hermione doesn't kill me for seeing her naked, then Bulma will, and if Bulma doesn't kill me, Ruby will, and if Ruby doesn't finish the job, then Mom will. At Hagrid's cabin the male members of the Golden Trio were laughing. I knew you can be scary, Hermione, but I didn't know you were scary enough to whip a Saiyan, said Harry, as he rolled on the floor holding his stomach. I can't breathe, it's so funny, but it hurts so bad, said Ron as he banged his hand against the floor. Both boys stopped laughing when Hermione hit them with a frying pan. Thank you for letting me borrow that, Hagrid said, Hermione giving the half-giant back his pan. No problem, Hermione, but you have to admit it is kind of funny. Hermione sighed. She did think it was funny that someone so powerful could be afraid of a woman's wrath. Goku's smarter than he looks. Meanwhile, there was a brief intermission because of the multiple perverts in the audience and one perverted turtle hermit in disguise who suffered blood loss from Naruto's transformation. Okay folks, that was unexpected. Also know that the technique used has been banned from this tournament due to its effect on the audience. The perverts groaned. Anyways, on to our last fight of the quarterfinals, Cedric Diggory vs. Namu. Well, this is interesting, said Hagrid. Why Hagrid? Well, Hermione, before Gohan was offered the job, Professor Dumbledore offered it to Namu. He refused though, and from what I've seen, that Diggory boy's no pushover. The Golden Trio could see where he was going with this. It was going to be a good fight. Cedric bowed to Namu. May the best man win. Namu also bowed. Thank you, young one, let me see your abilities. You two may begin. Cedric placed his hands on the ground. Yellow Kai began to form around it until it was like boxing gloves. Cedric then charged at Namu, fighting in a way that looks very similar to kickboxing. Namu simply moved in out of the attacks. Namu then flipped over Cedric and attempted to strike at a pressure point when Cedric sank into the ground. Goku, watching the match, was impressed. From what Professor Sprout told him, there were few Hufflepuffs who mastered the quicksand technique in under a year. Cedric reappeared behind Namu as the two began exchanging blows with each other, Cedric careful to dodge Namu's attempts of hitting his pressure points. Namu flipped back. You are quite skilled, but I have no intention of losing. Neither do I. Cedric then charged at Namu, leaping into the air, striking at Namu from the left and right. Namu ducked under the attacks and with a quick strike to Cedric's stomach, Namu then attacked pressure points on the fourth year's arms and legs, making Cedric fall to the ground. You have fought well, and as such I have only disabled your limbs for 1 minute. Had you been not such a skilled fighter, I would have disabled them for longer. Cedric Diggory cannot continue. As such, the winner is Namu. 20 seconds after the announcement, Cedric regained control of his limbs and walked out of the arena with Namu standing in the arena. Since Krillin has withdrawn, Jackie Chun will advance to the final round. We will now see who Jackie will be facing: Goku, the pint-sized powerhouse, or Namu, the quick-moving master of pressure points. The crowd roars in approval as Goku and Namu walk onto the arena. As soon as the MC was out of the arena, Goku and Namu charge at each other. Namu aims at Goku's legs, trying to end the match quickly, but Goku, having watched the last fight, dodges the attacks. Goku flips back and fires a beam of Kai at Namu. The man flips over the attack and charges forward. Goku then spins like a high-speed top. As he moves forward, Namu can't strike the spinning Saiyan and is pushed back. Namu was nearly pushed out of the ring when Goku stopped spinning. I don't feel so good, said a dizzy Goku. Namu then kicked Goku and he landed on the other side of the arena. Namu was about to kick Goku out of the ring when his tail wrapped around his legs and threw him to the floor. Namu quickly got up. I will finish this. Namu then leaped into the air and crossed his arms before diving down in the name of Buddha. Namu then, with his crossed hands, landed directly on Goku's neck just as he was about to get up. Namu was about to leave the arena when Goku stood up, holding on to his neck. But how the Tenduku Jiken should have knocked you out for 10 days. How in Brahma are you standing? I'm just lucky, I guess, said a smiling Goku. The young Saiyan then leaped into the air and firing a barrage of Kai down on Namu, covering the arena in smoke. Namu tried to sense for Goku when suddenly Goku appeared in the smoke and kicked Namu, sending the Indian man out of the arena. We have a winner, the winner, and our second finalist is Goku. Goku was happy about this. Meanwhile, Jackie Chun was watching the young Saiyan. I can't afford to hold back any punches against this one. 2 hours later, the final round has begun, both sides not showing even the slightest signs of backing down to the other. Goku and Jackie Chun both decide to use their ace in the hole. Haim. Haim. Ha ha. 2 beams of blue energy collide on the arena, both trying to push the other back, but Jackie manages to push the beam at the young Saiyan, who with every ounce of willpower in his tiny little body to push both beams up into the sky. You're pretty good for a little kid. And you've kept yourself in shape, old man. Let's end this like true warriors with one final clash. Goku nodded, and the two rushed at each other. The two proud and powerful martial artists leaped into the air, both delivering a kick into the other's gut, with both landing on their knees and Goku collapsing with a smile on his face. Ladies and gentlemen, after the fiercest battle in this tournament's long history, we have a winner, Jackie Chun. The old man calmly took his prize money and, after removing the itchy wig on his head, collected his student. The Golden Trio and Hagrid were in awe at the match they had just seen. I can't believe Goku lost. He's never lost, said Harry, surprised at what he saw. Goku's legs weren't as long Jackie Chun's, so his kick didn't go as deep as his, said Hermione. Behind them they heard a noise. The four in the hut turned to see Crabbe and Goyle, Malfoy's former cronies, running towards the castle. "You think they saw Norbert?" asked Ron. "We can't risk it, we need to get to them before they get to Snape," said Harry, as he and Hermione rushed out of the hut with their wands out, with Ron not that far behind as they chased the two Slytherins. "They're heading for the dungeons," said Harry. He then fired a red ball of Kai blast at Crabbe, hoping to trip him, but Goyle deflected it, sending it right back at Harry, who ducked under the attack. "How the heck did the two morons do that?" asked a surprised Ron. "Let's find out, Wingardium Leviosa," said Hermione. The two large boys were then levitating in mid-air. "Now, did you see anything unusual in Hagrid's hut?" The two bumbling Slytherins nodded their heads. Hermione then started shaking them in the air like they were rag dolls. "Now are you sure you saw something?" said Hermione with the same voice. They nodded again, and this time Hermione levitated them higher into the air. "Now are you absolutely positive you saw anything, because I'd hate to lose my focus and drop you." Harry and Ron were watching the interrogation in awe and fear. "Bloody hell, no wonder Goku's scared of her," said Ron the redhead. Hermione had then dropped him gently onto the floor. "What do you mean?" asked Harry. "Good, you should run along now and study." The two nodded, running off. Hermione looked to the others. "What is our problem?" "Norbert needs to go before Crabbe and Goyle rat out Hagrid." "You don't think that scared them?" Ron asked. Hermione was really scary. Hermione shrugged. "For now, but sooner or later they'll tell someone." Goku and the rest of the group from Hogwarts had just got off the plane. Goku was happy to get out of that big metal death trap. Flying with Kai was way better, and with no mean ladies telling him to stop eating so much food. "You guys go ahead, I'll catch up," said Goku. The rest of his group nodded as they went to get a cab to take them to King's Cross Station. Goku sensed the familiar energy and walked into the cafe, sitting at a table across from Lily. "Hi, Mom." "Hi, sweetheart, congratulations on second place. Your father didn't even get that far his first time competing." "Thanks, I'm going to guess you didn't come here just to congratulate me. This year's changed you, you're more mature, more battle-hardened. If I knew you'd be like this, I wouldn't have let you go to Hogwarts." "Mom, you didn't know about the seal or about what happened to my biological father, Malfoy, or the pink toad?" "Ugh, I remember her, she was a year above me, not much of a witch outside of defense." "Yeah, well, I gave her a wild goose chase," said a smiling Goku. "There's the Goku I remember. I'm glad to see the little boy I raised isn't completely gone." "Mom, I'll always be your little boy, literally, but I am growing up," said Goku. "I know, Goku, promise me something. You protected your brother when he was a baby from Voldemort. I beg you, don't stop protecting him." "I won't, don't worry, Harry won't end up like me, I promise." Goku then stood up and hugged his mother. "Goku, I would recommend flying. There's a crowd of reporters wanting to interview you." "Thanks for the warning, Mom, love you." "Love you too." Goku flew through the air, feeling the wind rush around him as he flew through the air. "This is amazing," he shouted as he flipped through the air before continuing flying towards Hogwarts. Flashback. "How are we supposed to get a dragon off the grounds?" Hermione Ron asked. "I'm thinking Ronald," Hermione said. "What's this about a dragon?" The golden trio turned to see a smiling Goku looking up at them. "What dragon?" Harry said, hoping his brother wouldn't figure it out. "Oh, so if I went to Professor Dumbledore he would say there isn't a dragon here at all." "Okay, Goku, there is a dragon, and we need to get it out of the castle before Crabbe and Goyle tell Snape." "Isn't there a dragon reserve or something I could just drop it off at?" "The closest one is in Romania." Goku frowned. We should probably hurry, cause Severus and the two dum-dums are heading towards Hagrid's hut." "We'll distract them, you get Norbert off the ground," said Hermione. "Got it. Wait, who's Norbert?" "The dragon. At least not all of the old Goku is gone." "Mom thought so too, by the way. She says hi," Goku said before taking off. Harry, Hermione and Ron hid behind a corner as they saw Professor Snape walk out of the castle with Crabbe, who was walking funny thanks to Hermione, and Goyle were behind him. Hermione held out her wand and pointed it at the ground in front of Snape. "Glacius," she said under her breath. A blast of frozen wind was launched from her wand and froze the path in front of Snape, causing him to slip and fall on his black-cloaked ass. Hermione repeated the charm in front of Crabbe and Goyle, causing the two Slytherins to fall on top of Snape. "Mr. Crabbe and Mr. Goyle, get your fat bodies off me this instant," Snape roared. Harry, Ron and even Hermione were struggling to hold in their giggles as they went to Hagrid's hut. After 5 minutes, Snape burst into Hagrid's hut. "All right, Hagrid, where is it?" "Where's what, Severus?" Hagrid asked. "You know very well what I'm talking about." Snape took out his wand. "Accio dragon." Somewhere over the English Channel, Goku nearly lost his grip on Norbert. "Will you stop squirming? It's a long flight to Romania." Goku suddenly stopped mid-air. "Wait a minute, where the heck is Romania?" Why didn't Goku bring a map? Meanwhile back at Hagrid's hut nothing happened. Well, Severus, ya can see there's no dragon. A furious Snape then turned his wand at Harry. You know, where is it? Knowing you're like that arrogant swine of a father, you had some hand in this. A furious Hagrid moved in front of Harry and Snape. Severus, if you wish to keep breathing, you won't threaten students in my house, Hagrid roared, Kai visible around his body. Snape lowered his wand. Very well, Hagrid, I know who is the superior fighter between us. 100 points from Gryffindor. On what ground? Shouted Harry. For smuggling an illegal creature off the grounds. Be lucky there's no evidence or you'd be in Azkaban faster than you could say Quidditch. Snape left the half-giant's hut followed by Crabbe and Goyle, who may have said something if not fear of Hermione making not. At the same time, on top of a building in France, Goku and Norbert looking at a map. End flashback. Okay, Romania may or may not be the country that looks like a heel, said Goku, but it could be the really big country to the east. Rawr. No, I'm not asking for directions, said Goku. We can figure this out. As Goku tried to look at the map again. Harry is eating when Goku burst into the Great Hall. Food faster than the Roadrunner who goes meep meep. Goku was on top of the Gryffindor table, stuffing morsel after morsel into his mouth. Harry and the others looked concerned. Are you okay? Hermione whispered. Romania as far was all Goku said. Very little passed during the next 6 months for Harry, Hermione and Ron. They had to balance studying for their finals and worrying about Voldemort, who they figured was the one who was trying to steal the stone, bursting into the castle to steal it. I don't get it, why would Voldemort want the stone? According to Hagrid, he just disappeared fighting Goku, said Harry as they were sitting by the lake. Well, let's approach it from his point of view. I went to kill you and the Potters. For whatever reason I try to kill Goku first, but he transforms. Wait, he could turn into a Super Saiyan when he was one, asked Ron. No, Ron, according to Hagrid, Goku turned into a giant monkey, so Voldemort fought the monkey, and Harry and his parents escaped. Voldemort used some kind of seal to make sure Goku could never transform into the monkey again. But how did he disappear? Well, Hagrid said that at the same time the seal was put on Goku, he was hit with a giant Kai blast. If Voldemort survived, he would be recovering. That's why he wants the stone, to regain his full power, said Harry. We have to tell Dumbledore, said Hermione as the three ran back into the castle running into Goku. Hey Harry, what's the rush, said Goku. Goku, where's Professor Dumbledore, said Hermione. He had some business in the ministry, but he'll be back by tonight. The stone might be gone by tonight, said Ron. Wait, why, said Goku. Oh, you think Voldemort is trying to steal the stone? Goku thought for a moment. Oh crap, he might be able to break through the seal. What seal? asked Harry and Ron. Not important right now, we have to get to the 3rd floor now. Harry, Ron and Hermione followed Goku as they ran to the 3rd floor corridor. When they got there, Ron tried to open the door. It's locked. Oh, for goodness sakes, are you a wizard or not? Hermione then pointed her wand at the door. Alohomora. The door opened and the four ran in looking to see Fluffy, the giant 3-headed dog, sleeping like a baby. Hermione, you try and find a teacher. Me, Ron and Goku will go down. No way, someone needs to make sure you don't get killed or worse, expelled. You really need to get your priorities straight, Hermione said Goku as the four leapt into the trapdoor. Harry, Ron, Goku and Hermione, having escaped the jaws of the 3-headed dog Fluffy, fell into the pit, landing in a green squishy thing. What is this stuff? asked Goku. It's devil's snares, don't move, said Hermione. Goku, send a ball of Kai into the air. But you just said. I know what I said, just send a ball of Kai into the air before we die. Goku, listening to the scary Muggle-born, launches a ball of Kai into the air, causing the deadly plant to shrivel, causing the 4 11-year-olds to fall. Goku, acting quickly, catches Harry and Ron with his arms, and he grabbed Hermione around the waist. With his tail, Goku managed to hold them up. Goku managed to slow their fall before falling onto the castle floor. The four then got up. Well, come on, we have to get moving, said Harry. We have to stop Voldemort. After an impressive display of flight from Harry, who was chased by flying keys, the four walked into a room that looked like a giant chessboard. Mounds of stone were all around, staring at the four, and now with their eyeless faces were 4 wooden beings with razor-sharp claws on their hands and legs and fangs. Harry, Ron and Hermione, get out of here. But Goku. That's an order now, get out of here before you get hurt. Harry, Ron and Hermione ran for the door. One of the death drones tried to attack them, but Goku, moving faster than the eye could see, and punched it into a wall. I'm your opponent, not my friends. The death drones roared, including the one who pulled itself out of the wall and charged at the young Saiyan, who turned into a Super Saiyan and charged into the fray. Goku ducked under one of the drones as he slammed his fist into one while being scratched by the others on his back, causing him to scream out in pain. Goku punched the one who attacked him and flew into the air. Please let me get this right. Goku slammed his hands together, sticking up his middle and index fingers. Wyvern Cyclone from Goku's hands, a miniature tornado was unleashed that was able to destroy one of the death drones. Goku cancelled the technique as it drained a lot of his energy, explains why those prefects combined their energies to pull that move off. The 3 remaining death drones leaped into the air. Goku blocked their attacks before countering. When they were back on the ground, he fired Kai Blast after Kai Blast at the drones. One of the drones opened its mouth and released a stream of green light. Goku dived to avoid the Emerald Beam of Death. These things can use Avada Kedavra. I'm in trouble. While Goku was distracted, one of the drones leaped into the air and knocked him into the ground. Goku focused Kai into his hands and slammed it into the ground. As he hit it, volcanic slam, the Kai then rose out of the ground at random, taking out the drones, but not before one was able to unleash Avada Kedavra. The curse hit Goku, slamming him into the wall. Goku was dead. Goku found himself in an office where everything was supersized. Well, welcome to death. Goku looked to see sitting at a desk was a red-skinned giant. What, I'm dead? No, you're not, but that thing is. The giant pointed at a bloody thing. What the hell is that? Goku asked. That isn't a concern right now. Goku turned to see a man he only saw in a memory, his biological father Bardock, dressed the same as when he died, only with a halo above his head. Hey Kakarot, long time no see. My name is Goku now, said Goku. Right, listen, I only have a few minutes before your spirit gets sent back to your body. First off, don't act like a standard Saiyan, they're arrogant fools, especially your older brother. Wait, I have a brother? Yeah, he's the reason I wasn't looking forward to another kid, no offense. None taken. Second, have you taken your battle name yet? My what? What kind of backwards planet were you raised on? Earth. You should have one anyway. A battle name is the name of a sensei you feel helped shape who you are. For example, I took one, you should too. Goku then began to fade. Looks like our time is up. We'll meet again, just not too soon, I hope. Goku nodded before he faded away completely. Goku woke up. Ugh, my head. He looked around and sensed Harry fighting a dark energy Voldemort. Inside the stone chamber, Harry was being tossed around like a rag doll from the possessed wizard. Why won't you just bleed already, you stupid child? The wizard, being irritated with Harry, grabs him by the neck. Very well, if you won't give me your blood, the seal will take it. Voldemort then threw Harry into the seal. Energy began to surge around him. The seal still isn't broken, it must be the mud blood. Voldemort then threw Hermione into the seal. Voldemort, the dark wizard, turned to see an angry Super Saiyan. That's not possible, my death drones killed you. It's hard to find good help these days, isn't it, said Goku. You won't stop me, Saiyan, I am the great immortal Lord Voldemort Akarin. But this time Goku didn't feel anything. But how can this be? The fragment of soul should be causing you to fall to your knees before me. So that's what that thing was, thought Goku. Lord Voldemort, you have filled the world with fear and death for far too long. It is time you faced the wrath of Son Goku. Goku then charged at the wizard Voldemort, who activated the Slytherin Fang. Goku ducked under the slash from the assassination technique. Goku then punched him into the air and then, appearing behind him, slammed him back down. Kamehameha. Goku unleashed a full power Kamehameha onto Voldemort. Goku landed next to the possessed Quirrell as he began to turn to dust. You think you have defeated me, Son Goku? You have only delayed my inevitable rise to power. The possessed Quirrell then turned completely into dust. Goku then turned to see Harry and Hermione surrounded in pulsing blue energy. Harry, Hermione, Goku rushed into the seal barrier and pulled out Hermione and Harry. They seemed fine, but then he saw their eyes. Harry's eyes had retained their natural color, but his pupils were gone, and 3 comma-like shapes were at the edge of his eyes in a triangle. I'm going to need to talk with Professor Dumbledore about this. The next week in the hospital wing, both Harry and Hermione woke up. Welcome back to the land of the living. Harry turned to see Goku downing a bottle of Coke. Oh God, how I've missed Coke. Pumpkin juice is a good substitute, but it isn't the same thing. Harry sighed. At least it was only Coke and not root beer. So congratulations, said Goku. On what? Harry asked. Oh, a couple of things. Gryffindor won the House Cup a couple hours ago. You won them at 200 points for not backing down to a Dark Lord. Oh, and your bloodline mutation. My what? Harry asked. A bloodline mutation is a rare ability among pure bloods families. They say in 1,000 families, only one will have one, said Hermione. Thanks Hermione, and because of my blood and that you were thrown into an active blood seal, Harry somehow got a blood mutation. Professor Dumbledore says that's something you will have to figure out on your own, said Goku before standing up. You should rest, Harry, the year is ending tomorrow. Goku is standing in Professor Dumbledore's office. Well Goku, what will you do now that you don't have a Horcrux on your belly button? I think I'll see the world and what kind of opponents there are. Of course I'll visit my family and be back in September, assuming I still have a job. Hogwarts is always open to you, my friend, but don't cut your travels short because of the school year. You could take temporary teaching jobs, eat hamburgers the size of iguanas, just keep a constant eye out for Voldemort. Of course. And now the villain's epilogue. Ma ha 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 ha. In a dark mansion in the middle of the Albanian forest, two figures were speaking. One was an old man wearing samurai-style armor, the other was a pale snake-like man. Well, the stone was a failure, said Voldemort. Indeed, Riddle, but soon this world will be ours, said the old man, his eyes flashing red. In a remote part of the galaxy too, a monitor activated. Lord Zarbin, a phenomenal power level has been detected. Zarbin, the blue-skinned alien from the death of Bardock, walked over to the monitor. These readings can't be right, send a low-class trooper. But sir, that would take 2 years to reach the planet. Do not question my order. What would Lord Frieza say if an elite trooper was killed because of your foolishness? Of course Lord Zarbin, you are correct, the will of Frieza will be carried out. The end. Thanks for watching.